I don't think it's supposed to be equal.
Welcome to the second leg of our trip, Guangzhou. It took us a little bit over an hour to get here by train from Hong Kong, which I highly recommend booking in advance. If I'm being honest, I did not have huge expectations for Guangzhou. I just thought it was going to be another huge city, but it ended up completely surprising me. The food was great, the shopping unreal, and the city itself was incredibly beautiful in the way I did not expect. So, welcome to Guangzhou, the city where we ate really well, shopped a little bit too much, and the place that took us completely by surprise. First things first, we needed to stop off at our hotel to drop off our luggage. They were having issues with their air conditioning, so they sent an apology robot that delivered us some snacks.
Oh, open.
在手机上点击关门键，我会自动关门。如果您喜欢的话，也可以跟我合影哟。
On the top it says working, do not disturb.
会为您带来一个世界的好心情。
Bye bye.
We headed to Beijing Road right after to walk around and get some snacks. I'm really glad we downloaded and set up our Alipay account beforehand, and even then it took us 20 minutes to order chagi. And by the way, this is the start of our addiction to chagi. The rest of the night we just ended up walking around the Beijing Road, checking out the Dafo Temple.
That just audibly gasped at that.
Since this area is known for street food and food stalls, we ended up grabbing some skewers and having that for dinner before we called it a night and headed to our hotel. We started day 2 by heading straight to popular shopping area called Dongshan. It's known for its historical mansions that have largely been converted to cafes and shopping. We ended up stumbling across this cute little cafe in a historic mansion and we ended up eating here. My favorite item ended up being the pineapple tonic iced coffee, which we later discovered to be a popular coffee combination in China. After fueling up with good food and caffeine, we were ready to shop for hours. Dongshan is known for its cool stores and boutiques, so we ended up going to all the stores in the area. And even if you're not shopping, it's so fun to walk around because the stores are an absolute work of art. My favorite ended up being this shop called Moro Moro, which was so girly and coquettish and everything was just so beautiful inside. And you know what else is located in Dongshan? The viral 2 Summer perfume store. If you've seen my previous videos, you know I came here with a mission. I researched multiple perfume stores in China and I wanted to make sure I picked up 1 or 2 fragrances that really spoke to me. So naturally, this resulted with me smelling everything at 2 Summer store. In the end, we ended up spending a good couple hours here. Not only because I had to smell everything, but because the store was just so beautiful and had so many areas to explore. It had many rooms where you can learn about the store, the brand, and the scents themselves. It was more than just a store, it felt like a gallery with a curated experience. So even if you're not perfume shopping, I highly recommend this place. Anyway, once I finally picked the perfume I liked, I also got to engrave it.
My first perfume acquired.
I ended up getting the osmanthus one because I really like the scent. It's a little bit sweet but very fresh, and it's very hard to come by a perfume like that. I know I said I wanted to get a tea perfume, but I smelled the tea one and I didn't, the triple tea, and I didn't love it as much, and this one really spoke to me. On the bright side, there's still a couple more perfume shops I want to visit, so perhaps I'll pick up my tea scent from there. Right around the corner from 2 Summer, there were a couple other perfume stores and we went into one of them. And they actually had so many perfume brands that I've never seen before, most of which were from Chinese brands. They also had a lot of city scent perfumes, which, if I am correct, is a Hong Kong brand. So if you're curious about Chinese perfumes, I highly recommend exploring this area. So I would say start at Two Summer, and within a block or two there are several other perfume stores that carry a lot of Chinese perfume brands that you can check out. Even though by now we've been shopping for a while, there was still so much to explore, so we kept shopping. Eventually we had to stop out of pure exhaustion, but I think we spent at least 5 or 6 hours here. I absolutely love Dongshan. They had so many different stores with different aesthetics that anyone can find what they like here. It's a miracle we lasted this long because we were absolutely famished by then. There are many clay pot rice places to choose from in Guangzhou. This one was Michelin Guide recommended, so we had to try it. Thank God we came at an off-peak hour because again it took us 20 minutes just to figure out how to and what to order. The main challenge for us is that everything had to be ordered through an app. Once you scan the QR code, it takes you either to Alipay or Dianping to place your order. And we were warned about this, but sometimes the apps just don't let you check out. So we just had to switch between different apps or different phones just to get it to check out. Anyway, we finally managed to get it to work, and the staff weren't angry at us. They just left us in peace and let us figure it out on our own.
The crispy rice at the bottom, very well done. It's not burnt at all, but really yummy.
The rice at the bottom was a little bit oily for my taste, but it was still very yummy, and I really enjoyed the clay pot rice. The clay pot definitely revived us, so we thought it was a good time to go and buy some tea. This place I found through TikTok, and I don't know if I would recommend it. It was definitely out of the way and it was really hard to find, and we ended up going in circles multiple times. It ended up being more of a stall in a mall, and I kind of didn't expect that. It was a bit loud because of that, and it was a little bit rushed. I think tea tasting is a really good idea in China because the teas that we tried were incredible. But I just recommend doing better research than I did and finding a reputable tea house to experience it at. We did purchase a couple teas here, and my favorite one being jasmine. It tasted incredible and it was so fragrant. We never found anything like that in Canada before. We tasted so much tea that we had enough energy to go to a bar after this. I found this cave-looking bar on Red Note called Inner, and it did not disappoint. It was so cool. We went a little bit early so we didn't have to wait, but the place filled up quickly after. The drinks were pretty innovative with very distinct flavors and combinations of alcohol. The staff were also really great and friendly. We were curious to try one of their cocktails, and they gave us shots of it for free. I don't even know how we had the energy to move at this point, but Tony thought it would be a good idea to go and have some dessert in the Liwan district.
This place is called Shinji Ice House. It is a popular ice cream place in Guangzhou in the Liwan district. I think they've been running for like 90 or 100 years.
Wow.
They started off with 2 flavors, coconut ice cream and mango ice cream.
I thought it was only one flavor.
Started with 2.
Okay.
They've expanded since then to include things like durian and red bean.
And
so we got the
almond.
original 2 flavors here.
Which one's your favorite?
Wow. The mango is really good.
Mango?
Yeah, both excellent.
Very creamy, right?
Yeah. Costs about 25 yuan, which is just over $2 Canadian.
They also have like a massive menu of other things that we're just too full to even try or look at, so we're just sticking with ice cream. By the way, I like the mango one the most because it's less sweet, but both are very creamy. The coconut is just a lot more sweeter, and mango is more refreshing. So we were originally just going to be in Liwan to check out the moon bridge, but we liked it so much that we're going to try to come back tomorrow during the day. Yeah.
Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by Liwan district. As the stores in the area began to close down, a lot of food carts started pulling up. Vendors were setting up fruit, beer stalls, snacks, everything you could possibly want to eat. We were too full to even contemplate food, so instead we wrapped up the night and headed to our hotel. The next day we started off the same way we ended last night, in the Liwan district. I don't think this was our brightest idea because it was really hot in the morning. We're talking 35 plus, and there was very little coverage from sun in this area. So this felt a little bit more rushed because I was just afraid of getting a heat stroke at this point. I think Liwan district is definitely worth exploring during the day because it is absolutely beautiful and full of heritage. There is a lot of beautiful brick buildings and traditional architecture, but either visit here during a cloudy day or later in the afternoon.
The fastest we've ever ordered a coffee. I managed to get it.
Because we could just order directly.
One of the main reasons why we were strolling around the Liwan district so leisurely and trying not to die from heat was because we were waiting for our early lunch reservation to become available. It is another place that I found on Red Note, and it's a vegetarian restaurant that does a course menu. They only do a handful of seatings a day, and don't be like us and make sure you get reservation, because it was an absolute miracle that they even found a place for us.
Hard filming. Okay, yeah. What's it taste like?
Tastes like a peanut.
Like a boiled peanut?
Yeah, I like boiled peanuts though. So delicious.
Alright. Some sort of mystery fruit. Looks like a cross between an apple and a melon.
Oh wait, yeah, it has a giant seed in it.
Not sure. We'll find out. Okay, this thing, I have no idea what this is. This tastes like plum, but not really. It's a little soapy flavor to it. Okay, Tony, try it. What is it? I've never tried this fruit before.
Some kind of melon, yeah. It has very thin skin.
It's like a cross between a melon, an apple, and a plum, and it has a completely unexpected flavor. Yeah, no clue what this is. Perilla peach. This is crispy corn with vegetable and fruit salad, and this is spicy fennel.
All the perilla leaf.
You can
As
smell
you
the
bring it up,
perilla.
the flavor is not that strong. Yeah, it's a nice little jelly, strong peach flavor.
Refreshing or no?
Yeah, that's nice.
Cheers for the go. Bit of a mystery. Grapefruit? You like it? Or is that bad?
There's a little bit of wasabi in here.
Okay, that's exciting.
Really good. Like the vanilla in the cone plus the wasabi. Not quite sure what's inside here.
Right, not really sure what's in it, but the flavors are just incredible. The combination. A little bit sweet, a little bit spicy with wasabi, and the cone is just vanilla cone. Genius, really. Yeah, spicy fennel with a carrot, I want to say. How is it?
I see. Has some ginger in it, I think.
What Tony wasn't able to describe is that it is not just spicy, it's Sichuan spicy. So it's kind of like burning and numbing your tongue. And I think the carrot is pickled. I don't really taste the fennel, do you?
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah. But it's very, again, very interesting combination. This tea is a little confusing because it comes in a teapot. Looks like it has fruit, but when you drink it, it's savory, like a soup.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a tea or a soup, but it's flavorful, but it's just my mind cannot comprehend this. What's in there?
Looks like there's some sort of squash and some gourd in there. I can't really see what else is in there, and it's really hot, so I can't hold it open for very long.
What? Fig? Asparagus?
There's a little fig. There's a bunch of cashews in there. There's the soybean, and then some sort of long green thing that kind of looks like an asparagus, but
It looks like a broccoli piece.
yeah, I don't know.
When she pointed at it earlier, I thought you can eat the stuff inside. I don't think this is an
not
asparagus. I don't know what this is. It is hard. I don't think it's supposed to be eaten. It's like a twig.
Well, according to the Google image search, it's the part of an orchid plant.
You couldn't have told me this before I tried to chew it.
Maybe it was edible.
I don't know. Hawthorn drink. Cheers.
Oh yeah, it smells just like that hawthorn candy.
And the courses just kept coming. Just like earlier in the menu, every dish was innovative and had unexpected flavor combinations. And even though we had a translated menu next to us, half of the time we had no idea what we were eating. We just knew that it was delicious and that it was vegetarian food. And what made this place extra special was that we're actually in the middle of the city and you wouldn't even know it. You couldn't hear the street noise, you wouldn't hear the honking. All you hear is that you're in the garden and you can hear birds singing and you see the koi fish swimming next to you. In addition to making reservations ahead of time, I highly recommend also buying a coupon for this place on Dianping. And it's not a small coupon. You get at least 50% off the price of the meal. If I remember correctly, you buy the coupon on Dianping, so you're actually paying for your meal beforehand, and when the bill comes, they just scan the coupon and you're done. Anyway, this was such an incredible experience. We got to eat amazing meal, we got to practice our Dianping skills, and it was one of the top meals I had in China. After our meal, we headed to one of the malls because there was a perfume store that I wanted to check out. It's called Beast. It's not as well known overseas as Two Summer, but within China, it's a very well-known perfumery that also sells home scents. I would say their osmanthus perfume is very similar to Two Summer, maybe slightly lighter and definitely cheaper in price. I also smelled their Oriental Beauty, but that perfume just didn't wow me. But I do still regret not buying their home scents because they were incredible. That was really the only reason I wanted to go to that mall, so we left pretty soon after because it was time for us to go to Canton Tower. We were rushing a little bit just because I really wanted to time it to sunset, but you never really realize just how big Guangzhou is until you have to get into the car and then you realize how far everything is from each other. I also did not factor in this many lineups. Even though we had tickets, we had to line up for the elevator that would take us to the first base of the tower, and then there was another elevator lineup that would take us to the top of the tower. At the top of the tower, there is an observation deck and there are these balls that are sort of like a carousel that you can get into that will take you around the observation deck. And you need to buy a separate ticket for these balls. And even though we had tickets, there was another lineup that we had to get into in order to board these balls. And by the time we were able to board them, the sunset was mostly done. So don't be like us, come here a little bit before sunset and time it so that you can see the sky all orange. Even though we were able to catch it a little bit, I think it would have been a whole different experience if we were there for the entirety of the sunset, so I highly recommend you come here just to see that. I initially wasn't too sure we should do Canton Tower, but I'm glad we reconsidered it and went because the view from the top is absolutely incredible and you can really see how magnificent the city is. By this point, we were pretty tired of our adventure, so we just headed back to the hotel as we enjoyed the city lights. And for our last day, we planned to go to the wholesale malls. There were so many to choose from, but we decided to go with APM Mall. I thought it was going to be chaotic, but it was actually okay. Different types of items were sold on their own floors, so shoes on one floor, accessories on another, men's section had its own floor. I would say lower your expectations from men's section because that floor was pretty sad, but the clothing for women was incredible. I would say there was a lot of variety in the styles of clothing, so you're bound to find something that you like. There were so many items with such good quality and composition like wool, silk, cotton. Overall, I really liked APM Mall. A lot of items were trendy, well made, and good quality. Some items you could also bargain for, and obviously when you buy more you get a bigger discount. And that was a wrap for Guangzhou for us. I honestly wish we spent more days here because there was so much to eat, so many more places to shop, and 3.5 days somehow just felt a little bit rushed. But it was time for us to head to the next leg of our trip, Yangshuo. So see you in the next video.